fascinating match to see who gets through in that first position, who's going to be going through a second. Dignitas and Fnatic both riding a wave of momentum as they're currently sitting 2-0 in this Group D.
Yeah, it's going to be here for first place basically between these two teams, like you had just said, and the first man out already. Fnatic doing their homework, they're going to take out the bounty time and time again. Sneaking has been known to take that hero into the offlane, be a general nuisance, and even in some cases, he gets way more done than I think a lot of offlane bounty hunters do. He's got really good map awareness. He's able to capitalize on every single thing given to him, and as an offlaner, it's something that you're always going to want to be able to do.
To me, that game, it was one of those rare games where he actually somewhat struggled. He got picked off a couple of times early on. One Sentry Ward killed him twice. He died, he TP'd back in and immediately died again. It was one of those rare games where I'm like, Snaking, this is not really how he normally plays. He came back, mid-game he came back. He played some amazing roaming around the map. He set up a lot of kills, and that's really where the momentum shift came from. His track kills combined with the Night Stalker. And it is a hero that Dignitas really love to use, and something worth banning out. Templar Assassin, the other ban. There's your mag taken out. This is, I mean, it's about as conventional as it gets when it comes to the bans. Wisp, the one hero, still in the pool, but neither of these teams I feel really favor Wisp that heavily.
Yeah, they go for more of the conventional, we're going to do a tri-lane, maybe an offlaner, typical mid kind of a style, but Darkseer is also available here. Fnatic's actually thinking about it. They're not sure if they want to potentially do something a bit different. That's the only real reason, in my opinion, why you would think about the first pick. If you're not going to take the Darkseer or the Wisp, then there's something that you're trying to either not give away, or maybe you don't want to show your hand a little bit too soon. So Fnatic is taking their time here in the first pick. Obviously the Magnus ban, you're going to see that almost all the time. Now people are starting to come to the realization that he's even more highly valued than Darkseer in a lot of situations, just because it's that free team fight in the mid game. As long as you don't shut him down, it's so hard to stop him.
Oh yeah, it's not a hero you just can easily go up against. And the other hero which Fnatic I feel are definitely looking at here is the Undying, a hero that Dignitas like to run. Fnatic have already first picked earlier on in this group stage, and they go straight for the Undying, which does leave Dignitas the Darkseer for their offlane role, with the Bounty Hunter being banned out. Probably a hero they may want to grab up here. Jakiro still in the pool, then you're looking at Darkseer, Jakiro, just the two they want to go for. So they have that strong support, they have the offlane of the Darkseer.
Yeah, Fnatic had knows this was coming though. These two heroes especially have been seeing a lot of play, especially at Dreamhack so far. And Darkseer Jakiro, the combination itself in the mid game is so ridiculously strong. You can get vacuumed into an Ice Path, into Dual Breath, Macro Pyre, things like that. Fnatic picking up the Undying, I have a feeling it's going to be similar to what they did before against Pulse and put that Undying in the offlane. The one thing about that game though is that the Undying got so much done. He got level 5 before 8 minutes into the game because of the lane control that Pulse had. I think that hurt them a lot. I don't know if Dignitas is going to make the same mechanical errors that we saw Pulse make against them earlier on today.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Fnatic want to go do. It's interesting, Fnatic, one of the few teams who actually will fall back on their hard carry. They did run the Anti-Mage earlier today, so they're not a team who, even with an Undying being picked up there, they may want to take this late game. They may want to have that safe late game carry of their own. Dignitas, a team who, do they run much Sven here? I feel it's a hero that has sort of reached a lot of hype, but AUI preferring to play more unconventional heroes like the Gyrocopter we saw last game.
He has a lot more pull towards heroes like Dragon Knight, I would say. He really favors those early game tanky heroes that can get a lot of farm, make it transition to a harder carry, and of course DK is much harder to kite once it gets level 16, so I think that's why he tries to stick to that type of role. He's been known to play Juggernaut before, but we're going to see a Chen Enigma out here from Fnatic, and honestly, it's a little bit strange because with the Undying pick, I figured they were going to be offlaning that, but with an Enigma and a Chen, there's pretty much no chance of that happening anymore, which means that likely it's going to be Tides, or excuse me, wrong team. Undying is going to be either a support or a carry in this role, and it looks like Dignitas will indeed pick up their Sven.
Well, the Sven, it really does fit with the Darkseer Jakiro combo. They have strong laning with the Jakiro Sven, dual lane or tri-lane, however they want to do it. Then come mid-game, it's just the perfect team fight, the perfect setup. And that's something which they probably will get a bit of. What Fnatic are trying to build their lineup around is this strong hero composition. With the Chen pushed, you've got the Enigma there, you've got an Undying to put down the Tombstone, they've got plenty of heroes to buy mechs, pipes, to take a team fight. So Dignitas counter with some strong initiation of their own. They've got that great fight if heroes get grouped up, and that's something which Fnatic may be looking to do, the fact they've got this Enigma. So having that counter there by Dignitas is going to help them out a lot.
I love the fact that they took the Enigma so early. It almost feels to me like they expected this Sven to be coming out from Dignitas, and that's one of the methods you can use during the later stages of the game. Once that Sven gets up his BKB, you really want to make sure that you can lock him down with something, and Void's still in the pool. We've seen that today as well, and Void is a hero who is great against Sven because it just guarantees extra lockdown again through the BKB. It's just so important. Looks like Fnatic not looking to play against anything like a Disruptor or a Rubik at this point. Of course, Disruptor is so hard to black hole against in general, and Rubik can spell steal even through a BKB of Enigma, and turning things around like that is just not something that Fnatic is willing to give away.
Yeah, really smart bans coming out Fnatic. So far it has been Hani really bringing this team together. I think that's part of the success of the last month. It's come from this change in their style of picks. Their drafting, it's really been stepped up a notch. They're having these strong early to mid game starts. They're really they're using their skills in their lanes with these strong drafts to make things happen, and it's really just their late game decision making which is sometimes falters. But Dignitas here, they have their work cut out for them. They won't have those strong immediate counters to the Enigma, to the strong push of Fnatic. They're going to have to really try get those levels, get this Sven nice and farmed.
And Dignitas actually going to take out the hero that we just saw them use to great success, which is going to be Gyrocopter. And you know, it's weird that they banned it out because they still could run a support Sven in this situation if they really wanted to, and just rely on Aoi getting that farm again. Flat Cannon is absolutely amazing against Tombstone. It's good against Chen, even in the mid game. The more farm you get, that hero actually carries ridiculously hard in the late game with an ability like Flat Cannon. It's 800 range, it hits every single thing around you. There's no target limit. And against heroes who are going to be buying BKBs and relying on tankiness, then it's definitely a solid pick in my opinion if you were Dignitas, but they don't want to play against it, and Fnatic bans out the Shadowfield.
Yeah, Fnatic actually using Gyrocopter in their last match, in their round 2 match, so something Dignitas probably saw, as that's what part of the weight we had for that match. So they would have seen that they used that Gyrocopter, want to ban out. Nagasar in the other ban here, something Fnatic sometimes maybe run in those aggressive tri lanes. Dignitas, it's probably going to be that farming Sven. They need another support, something to combo in there. They need their solo mid as well. They ran the Night Stalker mid last game, something Fnatic also did. So quite likely we'll see another Night Stalker coming into play, especially for the Dignitas team. I feel they have much more potential to go aggressive, to play a more ganking style of game. For Fnatic, they want to go for the strong team fight, the strong sort of heavy mid-game pushing lineup. They maybe want something with a bit more of DPS source, something like a Queen of Pain. They're going to get a Vengeful Spirit for now, so there's an aura which they can combine in there. It also denies it from Dignitas, swapping a nice little counter to the Enigma. So Dignitas going to have to maybe think of a different way of counseling that black hole should Enigma get a BKB.
Dignitas still looking for the mid. I do agree with you, Night Stalker is definitely an option here. And how scary is a Night Stalker at night with an Ion Shell on him and being surged into a team fight? That's the kind of initiation that Dignitas is going to be looking for. Give their Sven a lot of space to get into those team fights, do the damage that he needs to, and they're going to go ahead and pick up Alina. So a very aggressive potential tri-lane coming out from Dignitas. This hero was actually banned a handful of times this tournament so far to prevent something like this from happening, because normally a Sven Jakiro +1, you want the third hero to be able to do a lot of burst damage. Of course, Lina has that double nuke coming out, and of course they're both AoE. So we're talking triple AoE nukes coming out from Dignitas tri-lane so far, assuming that the off lane is going to be the Darkseer. We're looking at a potential mid here left for Dignitas, and I don't think Night Stalker is too far-fetched.
Yeah, Night Stalker definitely fits. As Fnatic, their mid here, they don't really have their carry. This is what's missing here. They've got what looks to be a farming Undying. I mean, even if it's a Vengeful Spirit Undying lane, they need some other sort of actual physical damage coming from their mid lane solo. Even if it's just something like a semi-carry, like the Windrunner, like the Queen of Pain, they can't be relying entirely on this push. It's just too sort of all in the one strategy to basically take down Dignitas before it goes late. Something which it's quite likely to do. Pushing into the Jakiro, the Darkseer, is not something that's going to be all that easy for Fnatic. So maybe even they fall back on something like the Antimates. They did it last game. The Faceless Void, another great option you mentioned, which can help lock down the Sven and deal with him in the mid to late game.
And we're going to have to see here if Fnatic's definitely taking their time. They're not sure what they want to go with. I really think that Void is a viable option for them here. There are a couple of heroes that can lock him down, but in all honesty, in a late game, all it takes is one good sphere, one good black hole to really turn things around. So again, we got one more pick coming out from Fnatic and one more coming out for Dignitas. I got to give a slight advantage so far to Dignitas, because anytime you pick an Enigma, you're putting so much emphasis on the ultimate being there. And there's already, every single hero on Dignitas has a method to stop it. Jakiro has his Ice Path, which is very long distance, by the way. They have the Darkseer with the Vacuum, also pretty large. You don't have to put yourself in a bad spot to really stop him, so you're forcing him to get a quick BKB. But in that sense,
this last pick from coming out from Fnatic, the Luna it gives them that stronger Death Ball army. It's a hero that just has to rush a BKB up against the Sven, Lee, and Jakiro. Just rush BKB, then you can actually just assemble, get your heroes all together, push down either mid lane, one of the side lanes, and there's not much that Dignitas can throw at Fnatic once they have BKBs up. They're heavily reliant on this burst nuke damage coming out from the Sven, Lee, and Jakiro.
And they have that aura stacking as well. Of course, you're going to have Luna's aura with Vengeful Spirit. That means they're going to be tagging quite a bit harder. And I'm thinking to myself that this is going to be a pretty heavy push composition as well. We're talking about Tombstone, you have a Chen Enigma, and you have auras coming out as well. There's going to be a lot of pressure on towers very soon coming out from Fnatic.
Yeah, and the last pick for Dignitas is going to be that Queen of Pain. So they get a sort of a utility, sort of semi-carry of their own. We're going to see Snaking actually playing that Queen of Pain, possibly going towards that middle lane. So a slight lane change coming out from Way Too Sexy, as well as Snaking and some of these plays. Fogged actually on the Lina. I don't expect to see a solo mid Lina here, but it looks like Dignitas going to switch things up.
Well, putting a Queen of Pain in the off lane, if you look at the lineup that Fnatic is running right now, the Luna isn't very high range, so there's still a potential that the Queen of Pain could farm, even with the VS trying to harass, because if you trade between those two heroes, the Queen of Pain's going to win. Shadow Strike is too much. You can't actually trade because VS doesn't have the highest base health. Queen of Pain hits harder. All you have is a level 1 magic missile, and that's just really not going to be enough to deter sneaking, I don't think. So we'll see what Dignitas wants to do with these lanes. I think there's two possibilities here, but Fogged is always pretty much somebody who plays on either a mid or a support, so it could be either way.
Yeah, and it's not completely out of the question that we see a solo mid laner. Darkseer can go in that jungle if they want to play a somewhat greedy style of play. They know they're up against Fnatic, who are running a jungle here of their own. But it does look like Fogged is going to be going into that support option. He's playing the laner. We've got Tides of Time playing the Jakiro. We've got Darkseer in the hands of Way Too Sexy. Going to be going into that offlane. AUI 2000, sorry, I should say, playing the Sven. And then finally Snaking, playing the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, and then for Fnatic, we're going to have JK going top lane. Of course, that's Hani playing on Luna No Tail. Going to be playing on Chen, Era playing on Undying, and we're going to have Fly on Vengeful Spirit, and that leaves Trixie, of course, playing on the Enigma, and it looks like he's going to be offlaning himself so far.
Yeah, Trixie going to the offlane, and what I suppose will be who's going to be going towards that mid lane is sort of the question I'm wondering. Is either Undying as a solo or Luna as a solo mid. Neither hero are really looking to rush a bottle here, so it's going to be interesting to see how Fnatic want to lane this.
Dignitas is searching around in the jungle right now for a potential pickoff. At level 1, you do not want to engage in a Dignitas. That is pretty much a death wish, especially when your Enigma's not even there. Even if he was, he doesn't really add much to a team fight. And you already have a Chen, which means you're not going to be able to do anything until 30 seconds in. Looks like they're doing some creep blocking of their own. They've actually already dropped a ward inside this big camp up at top lane to prevent the Chen from being too annoying.
Well, I mean, this is Fnatic with 4 heroes top for the time being. We're not seeing anyone rotate mid just yet. Enigma sort of lurking nearby. Same for the Undying. And it's going to be the Luna in the safe lane, trying to get some farm up there, just get up those early items. The Aura going to give him plenty of ways to keep the Darkseer out of the lane. As look at this entire dire jungle just being blocked by Dignitas, denying Chen of any opportunities to take any sort of a creep here. Both big camps being blocked, and that really forces him to go to the enemy jungle, something which, well, Dignitas are going to have support heroes as just positioned there to prevent Chen from doing anything.
I gotta say, this is a little bit strange coming out from Fnatic. Not a single person on their team, even at level 1, had decided to buy sentries, which pretty much makes it so these two heroes are gonna get nothing done at all. They don't have sentries, none of them have money for sentries. But like you said, they're forced into this really awkward position where right away you gotta kind of ask yourself, what are they gonna do with this Chen and Enigma?
Yeah, Chen, I mean, you can't go to the offensive jungle. There's Radiant Wards that'll see you trying to come on in, and then Fogged as well as Tides of Time can just rotate there with the Jakiro Lina and just force him out of there. No-Tail just walking around these enemy neutrals, and well, he's got no gold for Sentry Wards. Who can actually buy these right now? It doesn't look like anyone apart from maybe the Undying is in a position to do so. Enigma actually does have a couple hundred gold here, but he wants that fast soul ring. He's only got 1 camp to actually be farming here. This is a disaster start for Fnatic with these 2 junglers.
Yeah, this is definitely not the start that we're looking for. In the middle lane, it's going to be Fogged on Lina and a Queen of Pain. We're actually going to see a stun come out. Tombstone is dropped. Snaking did a lot of trouble. He's actually going to get first blooded right there. Era, he really underestimated the damage he was going to be taking there, but Era and, of course, Fly pick up the kill. That was way more damage than I was expecting coming out from that combo.
Yeah, I think the second Decay just got Snaking down really low as far as strength goes, and he became so squishy in this mid lane. He's rushing a bottle here. That's going to really punish him for going for this, I mean, somewhat greedy build, but it's what you'd expect to do as a solo mid. As in Queen of Pain, you want to get that bottle up as fast as possible, and he goes down really fast. He loses a couple hundred gold, and this bottle gets slowed down dramatically.
Now on the bright side, we have Way Too Sexy in the top lane. He's doing a pretty good job so far. He's got 9 CS. He's actually tied for, or second highest in the game so far. So they have Sven free farming. They have the Darkseer getting a lot of farm. This tri-lane just really isn't that good. Again, stopping a Darkseer from playing aggressive. They have a ward up here, so they're going to be able to see him going back in and out. But you can already see Hani's taking quite a bit of harassment himself just from Ion Chill and trying to CS under the tower.
Well, Fnatic, it looks like they want to try to rotate towards his top lane. Both Chen and Vengeful Spirit are coming in. Darkseer spots this out. He's got the wards there. He has the vision to spot this with, I mean, these camps being blocked out. Not only does it block him out, it spots ganks coming in. Chen, all he's managed to get is this Sadia Soul Stealer, so he can just be annoying at the top lane, mana burn the Darkseer as much as possible. It looks like Darkseer going to go all the way back to found the heal up, but either way, Fnatic, despite getting the first blood at mid lane on a bit of a misplay from Snaking, they're still struggling to find openings and places for the Enigma to farm, for Chen to get some useful creeps and farm as well. Chen needs some levels, needs to get that level 5 for the second creep, and wants to get that fast level 6 ulti as well.
And they've actually completely sacked their own jungle. Fnatic has shown no want whatsoever to counter any of these wards. We even have the supports buying boots before anything else. We can see Fly has already picked up his brown boots. They're going to try to do some damage to sneaking in the middle lane, but he's going to go ahead and blink back. And so far, I mean, Fnatic is definitely getting a little bit done here, but with the supports walking all over the place, not really having a whole lot to farm from, I kind of have to worry about what kind of mid game they're going to have.
Yeah, VS Undying, they're going to find the Jakiro here in the mid lane, just in the jungle, trying to pull that small camp. This is a really smart play coming out from Fnatic, punishing that pull camp. As soon as the creep wave's under the tower, they just make their move. They don't actually know, I mean, they know he's pulling, they don't know his exact positioning, and Jakiro not reacting in time.
Yeah, those boots actually came in a pretty big play right there. Fly was able to get into position very, very fast. Jakiro, of course, does not have boots. Very slow here, only 290 base move speed. Gave him all the opportunity they needed. And what great insight from Fnatic to just know that that was going to be going on, because every single team this tournament has been abusing that so far. It makes it very difficult to get anything done. And there was just absolutely no reaction coming out from Dignitas, like you said. So they give away a kill. Jakiro's going to try to make his way back to the lane, I suppose, do some creep pulling of his own, stack his big camp here right by the tier 2. And Dignitas giving away another kill.
Yeah, Dignitas are just trying to use their supports as much as possible just to get some early farm, early XP in the neutrals. You've got Lina using the pull stack as well, but those pickoffs, that's going to be cost them. That's going to sort of negate any advantage they were trying and getting. Darkseer at the top lane is doing a lot better than the offlane Enigma as far as levels go, as far as farm goes, so that's kind of the good news for Dignitas, but giving away these early kills is not something you want to do against a Fnatic team who, I mean, pretty much had some weak lanes. This Vengeful Spirit Undying lane, a very unconventional mid-dual lane, but it's worked out wonders for Fnatic.
Well, VS is more of a roamer than anything else, and because of the fact that Fly just knew that he could go in there and find the Jakiro pulling was just all to their advantage. That's what I mean by individual skill. He just knew that that was going to be happening, and since VS isn't a great laner by any means, yeah, we're going to see a dive actually out of Trixie. Double stun comes out, Stormhammer, followed by the Light Strike Array and Dragon Slave, going to be enough to get a kill, and it actually goes the way of Fog. Unfortunately, these illusions not going to do him any good.
And Sven Aui picks up those fast trades here just to help him get those kills, can be aggressive. He's actually tanking the tower here, needs to be a bit careful of the bottom lane, but they're trying to just pressure this bottom tier 1 tower as early as possible, at least get those kills, force Enigma out. Dignitas on the board now, and a very important kill. Actually, there's going to be another kill going the way of Fnatic, top lane. They get the Darkseer, so Chen managing to come out of the jungle, set up some kills.
Yeah, that was really strange. I was not expecting him to drop right there. The Luna wasn't even level 6, so I'm not sure how far out of position he had to be. I actually missed that. I caught it right at the end, so unfortunate, but one more kill going the way of Fnatic, and there's only one so far on the board for Dignitas.
Well, Dignitas, I mean, this is, I feel their strategy doesn't really come into play for another couple of minutes. Fnatic have sort of the stronger lanes in some sense. They have the junglers who can come out, make their impact known, like the Chen at the top lane. They have VS, who is a roamer, and for Dignitas, they need to get those early core items up. Snaking has struggled to do so at the mid lane. He's just got his magic wand, I believe a bottle being couried out to him as well, but the rest of their solos, Darkseer needs levels. The safe lane Sven just wants to get it more farm up. He's not going to be roaming around trying to set up kills, and Jakiro, more a defensive support who wants to maybe position himself behind the Queen of Pain at mid, just to prevent Queen of Pain from getting too heavily pressured.
Well, being able to bottle Crow makes things significantly easier if you're in Queen of Pain's position. You can walk up to the wave, you can throw out a scream, get your farm in, harass Arrow when you know the supports aren't there. Fly's actually doing some pre-running top lane, trying to prevent anything from happening. He's actually going to run right into Darkseer, but he's going to go ahead and pick up a double damage here. Maybe look to throw out his stun. Nope, not even going to bother. Just going to go ahead and run back and just ensure that the Queen of Pain doesn't get an opportunity to get a rune herself, because at this point, she is now level 6, and that's when you usually start to see Queen of Pains being active around the map. But like you were saying, they've been doing a really good job of shutting her down. At this point, she only has 17 CS, especially as a mid Queen of Pain. That is not nearly where he wants to be right now.
Yeah, the dual lane has worked out well. Now Fnatic, they're ready to start pushing down some towers. They've grouped up at top lane, 2 points in the Luna Aura. I'm wondering VS, how many? Yeah, VS has gone heavy Aura, 2 in the Vengeance Aura, just 1 in stun, 1 in Wave of Terror. This kind of tips what Fnatic are going to try to do. They're just going to look to take down tower after tower. Now that they've got this level 5 Chen, they've got the 2 creeps here, and towers will drop relatively fast to the damage if there's no defense. And Dignitas have heroes who can defend it with the Darkseer and Jakiro. They need to be there in position to do so. And right now, Fnatic just have the superior numbers at the top lane.
You know what's so cool about that push too is No-Tail came to the push with a Centaur for increased attack speed and an Alpha Wolf for the increased damage. So not only did they have the level 2 Vengeance Aura coming out from the VS, but they had more attack speed, they had an additional damage increase from the Wolf as well, and that tower just absolutely had no chance. Every single person except for one right now, the Undying is currently sitting middle lane, still going up against Sneaking, playing on the Queen of Pain, is going towards this top, and it looks like finally they're going to back. I thought they might go for a tier 2 with everyone here, but they're going to choose the other way.
Yeah, it does look like they're going to just back off now. They don't want to don't want to overstay their welcome. They've still got Luna just up there farming away with the Vengeful Spirit. No, Chen just picks up another creep. It looks like they want to go push again. Enigma's ready in position. We'll probably even see Enigma not really prioritize the BKB or the Blink Dagger. They want to just maybe get the fast mech on their team. Probably on the Chen on one, maybe even a fast pipe coming out from the Enigma. Oh no, Darkseid out of position. Top lane gets annihilated. Fnatic just come back with 4 heroes, something which Dignitas probably weren't expecting, and this could be a fast tier 2 tower coming down.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to stop this. Just look at how hard the Luna hits with all these auras on. Lunar Blessing, you have the... Oh, VS actually engaging, and to see an ultimate come off. Almost kill, sneaking immediately on the backside, though. We're going to see a stun on the Tides of Time. He's going to drop as well. Godstrength pop by Aoi comes into the team fight. There's the ultimate coming out from sneaking. They managed to kill Luna. The tower ends up dying in the process, and now the rest of Fnatic looks like they're trying to retreat. Darkseer's back in the action as well. Era pops his ultimate, throws off 1 decay. Aoi getting first down. Test of Faith goes off, but a nice stun coming out from Fog. Doesn't matter, though. Aoi dies regardless, and now Era's trying to make its way back. Era picking up a double kill. Sven and Darkseer both going down. Another magic missile coming out from Fly, and I think Fog's going to drop here as well. The stun unfortunately missed Era by just a little bit. Sneaking on the far right-hand side of the fight, trying to blink away. Might be able to escape. Ward drop down for vision, but Sneaking makes it out.
Oh, Sneaking gets out of there. Dignitas lose a tier 2 tower, lose multiple heroes in that clash. Really disastrous fight at the end result. And it's only going to get harder to take these fights as time goes on. No mech up yet for Fnatic. They haven't really even brought out these core items. Luna rushing possibly a Drum of Endurance with this early Bracer, and this Death Ball army for Fnatic is just going to get scarier and scarier. Dignitas can't afford to take these bad sloppy fights like we just saw, and it's a hard composition from Fnatic to fight this early on when you haven't got the levels on heroes like Darkseid. Jakiro level 4, Darkseid just level 6, and that to me is the one thing which Dignitas is hurting the most. Not the fact they're not farming well and behind in gold, it's the levels.
Oh, middle lane, Sneaking going to dive on the Fly. Is he going to aggressively blink in? It's still on cooldown. Actually turns on to throw out a magic missile, but it doesn't matter. The Shadow Strike damage enough to get the kill. And in terms of overall farm, like you were saying, the gold difference is actually bigger than anything else. The experience is almost dead even at this point. But we're looking at a 3,000 gold lead right now for Fnatic as the game continues to roll out. But we're going to see the first tower pressured here by Dignitas right now. Godstrength pop by Aoi. They really want to try to get some map control back.
Yeah, they're going to try. Fnatic are going to try swoop around from the side. They've got 2 creeps for the Chen, the Dark Troll as well as a Centaur, and Dignitas already wary of potential aggression and backing off, smelling that something might be up. And Fnatic, they're just going to rotate towards the mid lane. Maybe look to push down this tier 1 mid tower, something that's not a bit harder than those side lanes. It's a bit more of a bottleneck, and pushing into the Jakiro, the Darkseid, the Queen of Pain, never going to be that much fun. Smoke is the call from Dignitas. They've got 3 heroes smoking around, trying to find someone in these Fnatic neutral camps.
Yeah, if they catch anyone right now, they're pretty much dead to rights. This combo in itself is very effective, but they're going to run right past No-Tail, going towards middle lane. Looks like we might have a possible engagement. Aoi trying to get a Stormhammer off before anything really started. They're going to turn around, though, get spotted out by No-Tail. Ice Path long distance manages to hit nothing but creeps, and I don't think either team really wants to commit to this. Everyone's a little bit too gun-shy. It looks like Dignitas and Fnatic are both going to fall back.
Well, Dignitas would love to get this tier 1 tower, but they just do not want to take the risk. One more bad team fight for them could really set them very far behind. And it's just go split the map. Go look to farm. Queen of Pain heads towards top. They leave a couple heroes mid to try to defend the tier 1 tower. And then they've got Aoi farming away in these neutrals here. But they need to keep up their farm on some of these core heroes. Aoi trying to get this Mask of Madness up as fast as possible.
Oh my goodness, look at how many skeletons are being used here by No-Tail. He's got 2 Dark Troll Rollers. Those things actually hit reasonably hard. Hit for 32 damage apiece, actually. Zombies come out, though. Stormhammer in the back, going to go ahead and Fly and Hani. But so far, no one else from Dignitas is really seeming to want to commit to this. It looks like they're just going to be sacking another tier 1.
Yeah, Dignitas just deciding they can't defend these towers. I mean, the physical damage, you're looking at even these support heroes. You're having Enigma with an extra 52 damage on top of his 62 with all these auras. Pretty much every hero is having their base damage doubled when you stack all these auras, and that makes it nearly impossible for Dignitas to win a team fight unless they can burst down heroes instantly with some chain stuns. They need the perfect vacuum into a Sven Stormbolt, the Jakiro Ice Path, Lina stuns. They've got the damage to do it, but they have to catch the heroes in the right way. If they catch them in the open, where they're not grouped up, then suddenly Fnatic will just steamroll through this Dignitas lineup.
I really like this kind of aura-centric strategy that Fnatic's gone for. It's very reminiscent of when people used to run Drought Aura with Beastmaster and Vengeful Spirit. This kind of has the same feel, but honestly, ever since the change to Lunar Blessing, the flat damage early game is just that much better. It allows you to get your assertive map dominance out there faster. And like you said, everyone hits so much harder than they normally would that you can't really commit because the physical damage coming out is just too much. If you look at the conversions even too, when they're in range of Aura, it's pretty ridiculous how much damage those things do. We're going to see another smoke up by Fnatic, and they're going to try to cut Dignitas off near their tier 2.
Yeah, Dignitas already on the retreat here, although it looks like a couple heroes lingering behind, trying to just farm up some neutrals here. Fnatic going to actually just hover around this mid lane, maybe trying to find some openings here. And it's, to me, I don't think they need to go for these smoke rings. I feel like they've just got such a strong hero composition right now. They can just look to take down some more towers, group up. There's not really any need for them to be looking for these smoke rings, especially right now. You talk about XP graph, it's pretty even between the two teams. And as a result, I feel Fnatic need to be spending some more time just getting up this next level of items, this next level of farm. Luna just level 8, hasn't really finished even a single core item. Maybe just trying to build a drum of endurance here, but something at 12 minutes in, not having as a free farming Luna isn't the best.
Oh, Owie getting spotted out there by the entirety of Fnatic. Going to go ahead and retreat behind his tower. Sneaking is going to follow suit. Is there going to be any TP reaction? They drop the tombstone to break the trees, and Owie might be able to TP out in time. He will make it back to base. Sneaking has his blink off cooldown. I don't believe Fnatic's going to be able to get any kills out of this, but at the very least, they force Dignitas very far out of position, and because of the fact that all their lanes right now aren't in a favorable position, Dignitas is not able to get anything out of this. Another sacked tier 1.
Yeah, this is a stack tier 1, possibly even going to see Fnatic move on, try go for that tier 2 tower. They've got the Aegis still up on Luna, so they can afford to be very aggressive, position Luna in the front line, just doing DPS with the chain creeps, with the Eidolons, and just sit behind with those auras, with the VS aura, with the Luna aura as well, just stacking and doing tons of damage. And this is something which Dignitas are going to have a hard time defending. They're trying to get a fast Ags on this Queen of Pain, pretty much the only item which will allow Queen of Pain to continually defend, spam off that ultimate as much as possible, and just deter every push that's coming their way, which is going to be happening for a long, long time.
Now TP coming in from Fog. Looks like Dignitas is tired of running and wants to try to defend. They don't have Sven for the moment. He has TP, but he has yet to make his way to the team fight. But over time, if you get decay spammed enough, you just get to a point where Fnatic's going to be able to run right past the tower and just engage into you. So they need to be really careful about how they engage this. They do have long-range nukes, so the lane is doing what she can to try to stop these creeps from getting here. Going to see Tides expend a couple of ice pass as well. But until Owie gets here, they have no way to fight this.
Yeah, they really don't. I feel they should be fighting this. This is the one time they can fight Fnatic before Fnatic have even picked up items. None of these Fnatic heroes have bought their first core item, really. You've got Enigma trying to get a BKB, Luna just sitting on a bracer, and even the Undying hasn't finished off this mech yet. So it's going to be an engagement here. Swap in, Undying gets pulled back in. It's going to be a fast kill onto the Lina, and Luna, the Eclipse going off. Black Hole from Trixie, catches Snaking. Snaking still alive, though. Darkseer on the run here, getting burst down by the Luna. Luna just sacrifices herself to get the kills. 4 down, Queen of Pain drops as well, and now Fnatic just going to take heroes down one by one. Owie, the last man standing. They've lost 3 here, but this is a win for them. Denies the tower. Sneaky bit of play there from AUI 2000. And Fnatic, full team wipe. Going to continue to push down this bottom lane, using that Aegis to full effect.
You know, I was really worried about that black hole from Trixie because he actually hit no one at the start, but Sneaking walked right into it. Owie actually TP'd into it, so at the end he got 2 people, I guess, for maybe about 2 seconds, but it really just didn't matter at all. They didn't even need the black hole, to be totally honest. They got a full team wipe. Owie manages to deny the tower at the very end of the fight, which is definitely good for them, but they lose 5 heroes in the process, and the tier 2 ultimately dies anyway. It looks like Fog's actually going to be initiated on. He's going to get decayed. Tombstone goes down. Nice defensive vacuum, though, coming out from way 2, and I do believe that Fnatic is going to take this time, just go ahead and retreat.
Yeah, there's no need to overextend here. They're don't have to get too zealous for some extra kills here, and it's really just smart coordination there. Fnatic, they look, when they see they're getting chased by Lina, they turn around, they force Lina back, and then they say, okay, now we can back off. More heroes respawning. Lina's not going to keep on chasing us. If she would have died. And well, I think Fnatic just have to regroup, get this next level of items. Maybe, I mean, Roshan not respawning for a while here, but at least get the mech up. They've got the mech on the Undying. Get whatever Luna wants to be farming here. Maybe just a fast BKB. They've got BKB coming on Enigma relatively soon, about halfway there. And it's going to get harder and harder for Dignitas, who are just unable to get those early items. I mean, you've got Lina just getting a couple braces. All these heroes on the Radiant side just getting whatever cheap, cost-effective items they can afford.
That's pretty much their only choice at this particular point in time. You just have to tank up to make sure you don't get taken down by, at the very least, zombies, because the Tombstones, the way the Arrow's been using it the entire game, he uses it to separate his team from Dignitas to make sure that they have to walk through and kill it first, which is actually a pretty ingenious way if you think about it, because his team does so much damage, they push so fast, that you pretty much have to commit to killing the Tombstone first, otherwise you're just going to get melted. You can't very well walk past it and walk into Fnatic's team. That's just a death wish, so they just always put it behind, make sure that it's stuck between the 2 teams, and they just get their towers whenever they want them.
Well, all things said and done, Dignitas still well in this game. They're still level as far as XP goes. Gold, they're not too heavily behind. And Sven, in the late game, if he gets up a BKB with this Mask of Madness, he can rip through a lot of these heroes. Needs to start getting it. He's got the maxed out cleave, so he can, I mean, Luna, you can't really go for a man style. They'll just get cleaved down very quickly. And Luna's a hero who does not really stand up well to a Sven. The one thing they can look to rely on is that Enigma Black Hole, especially when you've got that BKB, pretty much just going to be used exclusively to try kill that Sven.
Now, you know what else I really like, too, about this Fnatic lineup is the fact that they've let the Undying by the mechanism, which means that the Enigma can go straight for the BKB like you were talking about, how important that is, just to be able to get it off. And we're seeing a big Ancient stack being done here by Fnatic just to get themselves a little bit further ahead. But interestingly enough, I mean, Hani, given the fact that they've gotten almost all the outer tier towers, he's going to have a BKB. He picked up a Bracer like he was going towards that drum, but he's just going for the straight-up magic immunity to give them that much more teamfight potential. When they push into the base with level 2 Eclipse, a BKB Luna, and Black Hole, it's going to be really tough to defend against that if you're Dignitas.
Yeah, I like the decision. I feel the one thing which Dignitas just cannot ever stand a chance of winning a fight against is going to be BKBs. If Fnatic get these two BKBs, they go push, they have the 10 seconds on them. That one push from Fnatic is going to be incredibly difficult to stop. If they can hold it, it gets easier from there on out. The BKB durations get shorter and shorter. They'll then get items like the Aghanim Scepter up on Queen of Pain to help stall this. Queen of Pain, Snaking actually getting pretty close to 600 gold away from this Ag Scepter, which will definitely help him out a lot with dealing with these pushes. But Fnatic have a backup plan. They can always fall back on this Luna as sort of a late game carry here if they feel they've got a strong enough early lead. Chen with an Aghanim Scepter coming as well. This is just a lot of item progression from this Fnatic team.
Yeah, they've left that Chen wide open to build pretty much whatever he wants. That also makes Chen a much harder target. Typically, at this point in the game, if you look at Dignitas lineup, you're like, oh yeah, they can just totally kill that Chen instantly. But the Ags makes him so tanky. He's got the Ogre Cloak for the extra health. He's got the point booster. He's going to have a 30-second cooldown on his Hand of God, which is probably going to be level 2 within the next couple of minutes, I'm sure. He's level 9 now, so he needs 2 more levels to get to that point. You have Sorup, you have Mech. Anybody on Fnatic's team is so much more tanky just because of their lineup that it makes Dignitas' life so much harder trying to run in because you have so many things you have to worry about. And that's not even considering the fact that there's going to be a level 4 Tombstone probably in the middle of the fight as well.
Yeah, this is going to be Fnatic. Look, 4 here smoking up. Enigma not joining them here. Just going to try finish off this camp. And is going to be looking for some kills, looking for some openings, go through their own neutrals, try and find this Darkseer who actually isn't anywhere nearby. So for the time being, Fnatic, a couple unsuccessful smokings. I feel this is one thing with their late game decision making. They're never too sure exactly what to do. They get these strong early leads, they draft really well, they play their lanes really well, but then they're suddenly like in this position where do we want to go? What do we want to do? How do we actually turn this lead into a one game? How do we actually find these pickoffs, find the Raxes that we need to push?
Yeah, it's interesting too because they smoked on their side of the map. So during this time, I'm pretty sure Dignitas was keen to it. All the warding they've done so far, they have 2 basic defensive wards. They have a top and a bottom rune spot. When you smoke up at this point in the game, you typically want to make sure that you have a ward on your opponent's side of the map so you can actually look to pick somebody. And when you go on your side of the map with a smoke, it's just giving Dignitas a lot of breathing room. And against a team like that, that's not really something you can afford to do.
Yeah, Dignitas, I mean, they're pulling ahead. As far as XP earn goes, they're up by 2k here, and that's something which their heroes having these high-level nukes is going to be crucial if they want to try burst down a lot of these heroes. Enigma, no BKB still, and Fnatic, I mean, these heroes really struggling in terms of levels. Level 9 Chen, level 9 Enigma, they've just been sort of sticking together as 5 heroes too much. When you're ahead, if you group up as 5, you've got to push down towers, you've got to take team fights. If you're grouping up as 5 and just walk around the map farming neutrals together, it's not really worthwhile.
And we'll see if Fnatic decides to push the last tier 2. They're kind of forming up here mid. Looks like they want to try to go down, get that tier 2 mid, force Dignitas into a team fight. But Dignitas wants to fight as well as Surge in from way 2. Actually decides to turn around. Maybe thought they were going to be able to pick somebody there. But no ward on the high ground means they had no idea what was coming out of Fnatic. And I think it's better that they didn't engage into that because I'm pretty sure way 2 would have been running into an entire team.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be going up there. And Fnatic, they're hovering around this Roshan pit, something which they can wait for a bit. Another smoke coming out. And the Radiant team for Dignitas, they may sort of, whether they catch on to this or not, it's not going to see any pickoffs because like you mentioned, the Dire team don't have any offensive wards on the other team's side of the map. And Fnatic just hovering around the Roshan pit, smoked up, trying to maybe bait Dignitas into a Roshan fight, but Roshan's still a minute away. Dignitas, if they wrote down the time, if they remember that, they know there's still some time before it spawns.
I feel as though Fnatic has this window of opportunity, but it's very quickly shrinking for them. They're ahead by 7 kills. Their net worth is overall higher right now than Dignitas is because they managed to get all of those towers. But eventually that Sven's going to get to a point where their only thing that's going to be able to stop him is that black hole. We've talked about it a bit before, but it relies on Trixie to be able to get it off in the first place. He has the BKB, but he's going to be relying on walking into position, and that's always a little bit of a danger when you look at the kind of composition Dignitas has. What if he doesn't pop his BKB fast enough? There is just a potential for him to die before he's able to do anything. So it's all going to be down to what happens in the next few minutes. Roshan's going to be spawning here in just a second, and Dignitas, with all their tier 1s dead and most of their tier 2s, look to be a bit out of position for this.
Yeah, this is going to be sort of where for me, their last moment where they're still in the lead. When they get this Aegis, they need to push, need to put on some pressure. If they don't do that while they have this Aegis, that window of opportunity disappears, and we're pretty much back on equal terms. You've got a Queen of Pain getting more and more farmed, and you mentioned Enigma has to get the BKB. Queen of Pain, a great hero who can sort of blink in, just pop an ultimate, try force out an early BKB from Enigma, make sure that it's going to get popped early, provide some space for Sven, and Darks are another hero who can just go in the front lines, try force out either an early BKB, or at least try initiate onto the Enigma. If he gets picked off, there's no real team fight for Fnatic up against this Sven.
Now continuing his farm too, by the way, sitting on top of a BKB and a Mask of Madness. Wow. Actually skipped up his drum as well. Smoke up from Fnatic. Looks like they want to try to cut somebody off. They're going towards what appears to be the Secret Shop. They're going to see Fogged as well, but nobody's actually going to get him in time. To lose vision, try to use the Midnight Pulse for extra sight, kill the trees, but Fnatic, unfortunately, going to waste yet another smoke.
That's about I feel like three, maybe even all 4 smokes that they've used this game have just been completely unsuccessful. I don't think they have any left on their side of the map. And Snaking, look at this top lane. He's pressuring this tier 3 tower. Going to force back some TPs. Fnatic, all they can do is maybe get a tier 2 tower before having to TP back. But Snaking doing some damage at the top lane. This is not how Fnatic want this game to be played out.
Now, they should be able to get the tier 2 mid low. So at the end of the day, if they really want to commit to this, they have an Aegis up on Hani. That Luna is already hard enough to kill once, much less 2 times. But the first TP back is actually going to be Trixie. He's going to run below. Looks like he wants to try to catch out Sneaking, but Sneaking's going to TP back to base way before he's ever in range to really make anything happen. But we also have to talk about now, because that tower actually didn't fall, and the fact that Fnatic is in Dignitas Woods, there is that kind of a feeling where you want to try to stick together as 5. Looks like Dignitas is going to take this opportunity to smoke as well.
Yeah, Dignitas, this to me seems like a smoke that could actually work here. They've been playing very defensive on their side of the map for quite some time. How are we actually going to reveal himself just to clear out this Ancient Stack very quickly? He's got that BKB, he's got plenty of gold on top of that. Probably wants to go towards his next time. And nope, Dignitas aside, despite having used that smoke, they want to get back. A lot of creeps awaiting AUI 2000 at the bottom lane. And, well, Dignitas are the team who sort of benefit more from that defender's advantage. They're not in a huge rush. Now that Fnatic have their BKBs on the Luna as well as the Enigma, they say, well, if we're looking to get offensive, we risk it sort of backfiring. So they can just buy time, get that next level of items, get Dark to that level 2 ulti. He's just about half a level away from that, and then try and take the fight to Fnatic. Especially if they're defending, it's a lot easier for them to land those AoE combos.
Yeah, definitely going to see Sneaking come mid, show the fact that he has his Aghanims finished by throwing out his ultimate onto a creep wave. No real worse for Rare in that regard, especially once you get to level 16. It's only a 40-second cooldown, so going to be really good for him. He's going to pick up this haster in the top, and Era's not going to be able to do much about it. And, you know, interestingly, Era looks a little bit under level. I mean, it's 24 minutes in. He's only level 12 at this point. He has the mech finished. He's working towards that Aghanims, but I feel like things are not quite progressing the way that Fnatic had hoped. They're just not really applying that much pressure at this point. This should be the point in the game where Dignitas has no ward vision. They're forced to sit inside of their base, and they just can't get out of the map to find their efficient farm. But that's really just not what's been happening.
Yeah, like you say, they should have maybe gone for an early gem and then just sit with their 3, 4, 5 heroes on the other side of the map, farm out the enemy neutrals Fnatic, which they haven't done. They've been sitting back, playing this a bit safer than they need to. Sure, they're up against a lot of burst damage from this Dignitas side, but their ability when they're grouped up to win any fight is just unparalleled at this point. With all the heals coming out from the Chen, you've got the mech up as well, you've got the BKBs. There's no way Dignitas can take a fight unless they have sort of a numbers advantage, unless they have something that's going to tip it in there, tip it towards their side. But that's not going to happen when you've got an Aegis as well for Fnatic. Fnatic are just playing way too passive considering the item advantage they have.
And there's only 3 more minutes or so, give or take, on this Aegis from Hani. So if they want to try to make something happen, it's going to have to be soon. They swap Sneaking in. Blink actually right into another stun. Here comes Fog. A nice Light Strike array is going to stop any more aggression coming out. For the moment, he actually eats a Malphite for using his ultimate. Good to see a Laguna Blade used instantly. But of course, Trixie getting mech'd up right there, and the ultimate coming out from No Tail. By the way, that's only a 30-second cooldown ultimate, soon to be level 2, so we're talking a 300 hit point heal for everyone. Fully heals your creeps every 30 seconds.
Yeah, you've got the low cooldown on the Queen of Pain ultimate, so Chen says, hey, I'll just get an Aghanim Scepter as well. That's got an even shorter cooldown than the Aghanim Scepter cooldown on the Queen of Pain. So as far as spamming it on heroes, it's not going to be that effective. Just something that Queen of Pain can use to help clear out these creep waves, and Fnatic feel now is the time to strike. They've got a couple minutes left on this Aegis. They've got all 5 heroes pushed bottom lane, all the creep waves pushing out. They're going to force Dignitas to make a move to try and defend this bottom lane.
Yeah, this could be the make or break for both teams. If this push doesn't work, Fnatic is going to be in a really awkward situation, and if Dignitas loses a Rax here, then Fnatic can continue their momentum, maybe feel a little bit more confident.
Yeah, and it's going to be just chipping away at this bottom tower. They put down the Tombstone very early on. They don't really have the range damage to deal with this, apart from maybe the Queen of Pain and the Lina, but they're just unable to do this. Fnatic just with the Luna in the front lanes. Great vacuum. Wall of Replica to follow it up. Dignitas, BKB, Black Hole coming out from Trixie, trying to focus them down. Luna with the DPS takes out Jakiro. Sven in the front lines gets focused down as well. Immediate buyback coming out from Sven. Hour 2000, trying to keep his team in this, but it looks like Fnatic in a position to maybe take down the Raxus. Snaking comes in from the side, takes out Chen. No Tail goes down, and Fnatic, their push gets to push back. Dignitas still alive.
That was completely insane. Aoi got Black Hold for the entire duration, came out, hit twice, and almost killed 3 heroes of Fnatic. That is just the kind of damage output you have to expect coming out of a level 17 Chen, who now has a Chrysalis finish. Even though he had to buy back for that fight, they defend the racks. Ultimately, the Aegis is still up on Luna, but by the time they're able to regroup, I'm pretty sure it's going to be down. If you look at the Roshan timer, it's actually going to be dropping here any second, which means that Fnatic is in a much more struggling position, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, we could see Dignitas look to get aggressive right now. They could look to try to take another team fight when that Luna Aegis expires, and then Fnatic are just not ready to fight. They haven't got the black hole up for a couple of minutes, and I just feel this is not really a moment of strength for them. The Luna sitting on 4k gold needs to pick up that next big item, start working on, I imagine, a Manta style, not the best against the cleave from the Sven. All the AoE damage coming out will just rip through some of those Luna illusions as well, so maybe this is even a game where we see something where it's a bit either a tankier build or an item like Butterfly, which can just give you the pure damage. Combine that with some lifesteal as well, but I feel Manta style isn't even going to be the next sort of big item for this Luna. Even if you get it, it's not going to really contribute a whole lot to these team fights.
Well, the way people, or at least Fnatic, has built Luna in this particular game is not really as a hard carry at this point. He has 4,000 gold saved up, so we'll see what he wants to buy. But when you're talking about his Sven goes for the most damage output you can possibly get with the BKB, go for crit, and just try to kill somebody in 2 or 3 hits. That's just what he always does. So if you're a Luna, you want the Butterfly, you want the extra armor, you want the evasion to prevent him from being able to just go on you, even through a BKB, and just tear you apart. So I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't gone for a more carry-oriented build just yet, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, and for the time being, Fnatic, it's really that end of that opening for them. They're going to have to wait for the next Aegis before they can really afford to get aggressive, try and take it to Dignitas again. Even if they go down towards that bottom lane where the naked Raxes are without that tier 3 tower protection, it's not really a fight they're going to win without an Aegis, without a black hole for a couple minutes. And even when that black hole's back online, I think it's something which Dignitas are positioning themselves well enough to fight. They've got the wall of Replica to really just take the fights on their own term, and pushing up that ramp in that little bottleneck at bottom lane is something which is really difficult for Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic doesn't even look like they want to push right now. They're just kind of all sitting on their side of the map. Dignitas has assumed pretty much full map control at this point. The only ones who have crossed the river of Fnatic are going to be Trixie and Fly, and they're going to be walking towards where the bottom tier 1 used to be, and everyone else is pretty much just all on their side of the map, and Dignitas is feeling this confidence now. It's like, you know what, you had an Aegis, you had an opportunity, you didn't fully commit to the fight, which I'm not sure if they would have won it anyway, but they didn't even try to expend the Aegis. They pretty much completely sacked it once they realized that the Sven, even though he got a full black hole used on him, which is the best case scenario, just did too much damage after the fact. And speaking of, we're going to see Way2 getting caught in the top lane, gets netted out, not going to be making it back to base, gets a decent vacuum, but unfortunately no follow-up from his team. So Darkseer getting picked off in the top lane.
And not the worst pick-off for Dignitas. They're just forcing 4 heroes to commit to that. Queen actually almost getting caught at mid lane, blinks out just as Enigma comes on in with his own blink dagger, but it's just buying time for Dignitas to get that next level item up, whether it's Sven finishing off his Daedalus, even some of these supports. Queen of Pain getting close to a BKB, and then Lina, the supports, getting close to a 4-star. Jakiro wanting to maybe get a Drum of Endurance for his team. They just want to get this next level of items up, especially BKB for snaking. That's going to allow him to play a lot more aggressive in these team fights and not have to worry about getting nuked down by a Luna ultimate, getting stunned by a VS. If he gets swapped in, he can just pop that and then be perfectly safe.
Now, you know, we actually forgot to mention is in the last team fight when they were pushing in bottom, Fnatic actually lost their gem. They gave it away to the side of Dignitas. So not only are you going to be losing all your ward vision, the wards that we're seeing placed right now, the sentries, especially because they were carrying it around for a while, they're going to be able to get rid of all of this as soon as they feel confident enough to move out on the map again. And because of the fact that Fnatic has yet to really crack the base in a big way, they managed to take the tier 3 bottom, which is great. But BKB now being finished on this Queen of Pain, I definitely worry for Fnatic's teamfight potential, because while Luna does have that carry potential, it's not quite to that point in the game where you can just rely on her to do everything on her own. She is going for that Butterfly like we talked about earlier, but no lifesteal yet, no Satanic, no way to really stay in the fight with the BKB if the Sven's beating on you.
Yeah, this is not going to be a Luna who can fight the Sven toe-to-toe. It's going to have to be heavy reliance coming out from the Enigma to get a big black hole, the Chen to use those heals at the right times, and VS Swap is another late-game spell which can have some strong implications, but Fnatic for the time being, you can just tell by their warding, they're playing very defensive. They put defensive wards at top lane, both on the big cliff as well as further off in their own neutrals. No wards on the enemy side of the map. They are really very cautious of what Dignitas can do to them, and they don't feel that same level of confidence as they had earlier on when they were looking to be aggressive. But if they can get this Aegis as well as the cheese, which is going to come with this next Roshan, then maybe they kind of look to get a bit more aggressive once again. With an Aegis, they can sort of just suicide in, try take down this bottom set of Raxes.
I feel like that's going to be one of their only options. The later this game goes, you're giving Dignitas more opportunities to get back in the game. Aoi just finishes up his Daedalus, so now he's going to be hitting quite hard. Level 19, 2,000 HP, has a Mask of Madness, has the BKB. They know Roshan's up. They're going to be circling around here to try to catch Fnatic, and this could be an absolute disaster for them.
Oh, they get spotted. The pings. There's a Sentry Ward there. They spot things out, and well, Fnatic immediately pinging it. Fnatic, Roshan haven't respawned yet, so both teams know what's going on here. Fnatic, this is going to be a big risk for them if they want to go into the Roshan pit. Dignitas are in a position to contest this, and, well, it's a big risk going in. Roshan not respawned yet. Fnatic just playing a little dance around the Roshan pit.
Ice Pass going to go into the pit to do some scouting, and Roshan has repop. Fnatic is actually going to go for it. They're going to start the engagement. It looks like for the moment, Dignitas thinks they can actually get a tower and in the process come back, but we also have to consider these are a lot of auras coming out. They have an Alpha Wolf. They're killing Roshan quite fast. I don't know if trading Roshan is worth a tier 2 tower at this point. They're giving it to Hani. He's going to have his Butterfly after it's dead as well. Sneaking is not going to be able to blink in and steal it. The Cheese and the Aegis already picked up. Sven does get the tier 2 middle lane, but everyone else from Dignitas realizes that giving away the Aegis probably not going to be able to take a team fight right after that, and they're all going to try to back up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Dignitas decided the best thing they can get there is the trade, which it's I don't know, I'm somewhat doubting this, because giving away the Aegis as well as Cheese just allows Fnatic to take fights which are really heavy risk, maybe going down the bottom lane looking for a set of racks. It's going to force Dignitas to go on, engage, and prevent these pushes, which is not something easy to do when you've got a Cheese as well as Aegis on this dire side, and it's as well as possible buybacks coming out from a couple of these heroes. Luna with 2.5k gold probably just wants to finish off the completed Butterfly. You've got the security of an Aegis. You can't really be focused down and just dealt with when you buy this Butterfly. You don't have to worry about the buyback, and this makes Fnatic in a really good position if they want to try push now.
Yeah, I just hope they actually decide to push this time. Last time they got into a little bit of a fight, and they decided to just completely back off after they saw the black hole really didn't do as much. The Sven got a couple of swings off, did a pretty significant amount of damage, and they basically just decided to sack their push once the tier 3 fell. I don't think they can afford to do that twice. I really think that this has to be a push that at the very least gets a melee racks. If you don't get 2, that's not a huge deal. Melee racks enough to really push in a lane, give you that map control that you're really seeking. Aoi is actually going to be spotted here, farming in the bottom lane. He has a TP, and the rest of Fnatic is looking to collapse down here, so I think this might be their time to push.
Well, they've smoked up, so if they get close enough, they will really. I think Aoi wants to stay bottom. He wants to have that opportunity to keep on pushing this out. Oh, Era getting so close to him. If he'd gone a bit further, the smoke would have revealed that Aoi was in fact in that little spot there. So very, very close. Aoi's still just sitting there. He wants to try and see if he can push out the lane. He decides to TP out now, spotting 2-3 heroes at bottom lane, and well, the push is on. Bottom lane, it's going to be from Fnatic, and Dignitas making the right decision at top lane, just going for the counter push. They're going to try and make Fnatic decide between defending or going for the bottom Raxes.
I don't know if base racing, I mean, it's going to be a little bit tricky. It's a Luna with a pretty decent amount of farm versus a Sven, but the Sven's actually in their base, so more than likely, we're going to see Dignitas actually come back, try to defend this. There's no wards up on the high ground or anything like that coming out from Fnatic, so they have no idea what they're going to be walking into. We talked about this earlier, the base defense of a Queen of Pain, level 3 ultimate with an Aghanim Scepter, very high burst damage. He's just going to pop it right away and clear out the creep wave.
Well, Chen immediately pops the Hand of God just to sort of negate all of that damage, and Luna going to start getting to it on the set of Raxes. The melee barracks going to be the first target. Glyph is there, and Dignitas going to have to pop that soon, and they're going to have to engage soon as well. It looks like they're just going to give up this melee barracks, not going to waste the Glyph now, decide that even if they use it, it's going to go down regardless, and this just goes to show giving up the Aegis and Cheese to Fnatic is something which is very, very risky. Luna gets set back home, so Fnatic, they're happy with their spoils. They're going to go back home, get their next level of items, and just maybe look to come back before the Aegis expires.
I'm actually kind of shocked that Dignitas didn't even put up a fight for that Rax. They just completely sacked it at that point. You have a Sven who has enough damage at this point to just cleave crit and instantly kill maybe 1 or 2 supports. That's just the amount of damage that he's going to do. He's level 20, they have the Darkseer wall, they have great stun follow-up, they have a Queen of Pain who has a very short cooldown on her ultimate. I'm just really kind of scratching my head going, why did Dignitas just sack a Rax right there? You have so much good teamfight, especially inside your base, so many AoE heroes, and there's really only 1 or 2 BKBs coming out for Fnatic at this point. You can at the very least try to put up a fight, but I don't know if that's just more that's going to be coming in later, because if they don't defend their second set of racks, then what are they going to defend?
They have to defend mid. They can't afford to. You go down a set, well, not even a set. They've only lost the melee barracks at bottom lane, but if they lose their mid melee barracks as well, it becomes ridiculously hard to come back in the late game. Luna is a strong enough late game carry, even up against the Sven, the Queen of Pain, the dual carries, who are probably somewhat better in the late game. If you're down racks, it becomes really hard to take that into the late game, and Darkseer has got to head off a big vacuum wall of rep if Dignitas want to stand a chance here to defend.
Yeah, big vacuum actually going to hit 4. Fnatic now on retreat, but we already see 1 dropping. Black hole hits Aoi. He's the only one here. No one else from his team is here to help him. Aoi's going to be dropping here for sure. He buys back immediately into the game. Sneaking pops at BKB. He's going to be doing what damage he can to Air at this point. Going to see his stun on a way to as well. He's going to drop as well. Chen has already bought back. His 2 buybacks so far from either side right now, and it looks like Trixie's going to go ahead and pick up a double kill as Jakiro and Darkseer are both dead for the moment. Aoi is here. He does not have his ultimate. BKB is also on cooldown. They expended the black hole. They did what they had to disable the hard damage coming out when he had his God Strength popped. And I don't know if they're going to be able to stop this. The Darkseer wall's down, though, but just look at how many creeps, how many conversions there are. I feel as though this tower is still going to get sieged. We see a stun coming out. Oh, never mind. Here comes Queen of Pain with her ultimate, but she's taking so much damage from those glaives. Needs to be careful.
And Chen's just got this 30-second cooldown on the ultimate, just keeping Fnatic. They're all still full HP. They've still got Aegis. They've still got Cheese. They didn't take really any damage at all, at least no permanent damage. They just heal themselves up after every set of nukes, every Queen of Pain ultimate. There's a Chen Hand of God ready to answer, and well, very little left for Dignitas. Sven goes in, trying to keep things alive. Dignitas, Aoi 2000 calls GG, and it's going to be Fnatic. The team everybody sort of mentioned as a dark horse. Toby himself said they're a team who could cause some upsets. They're going to go 3-0 in their group. They're going to take that top position here. Dignitas finish off second place, 2 wins, 1 loss. Not too bad, coming all the way from America and putting up a hell of a fight in Group D.
Really impressed with Fnatic's performance here. We had a little bit of doubt during the mid-game that they just didn't feel like they were applying enough pressure. There was the opportunity for Sven to come back into the game, but I got to say, Trixie played really well. He got the black holes off at the perfect time. Every single time he hit that Sven, the God Strength was on, the BKB was popped. That is exactly how you shut down a Sven in a teamfight situation like that, and as much as we kind of rag on Fnatic for being a team who doesn't necessarily have the greatest team fight, they performed exceptionally well in team fights that game.
Yeah, the team fights were there. They just got so far ahead early on, I feel, with the items. With the way they structured this push, there was just nothing really that Dignitas could throw at them. And, I mean, a couple times where they were just walking on the map, a bit unsure of what to do, it didn't cost them because they were just too far ahead.